Hi friends, today I have a small book haul for you all that I got from Better World Books. I'm going to go through the haul first, and if you want to know more about Better World Books and thrifting books yourself, stick around towards the end. The first book I got was Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. This is about two magicians in England in the 1800s. This was definitely on my list of big books that I wanted to tackle, and it's so highly rated that I really wanted to check it out as well. So 800 pages of pure fun. The next book I got was Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. This follows a few generations of a particular Greek American family, and in particular follows Callie, who discovers a really big genetic secret in her family's history, and it's supposed to be structured like an epic, so I'm really interested in checking this one out. The next book I got was Michael Moss's Salt, Sugar, Fat. I've been really into wanting to read more nonfiction, and the food industry is something that particularly interests me, so I figure that's a good place to start. This book delves a lot more into the companies that process food and the food industry itself more, as well as what goes into making these trillion-dollar companies so profitable, and what goes into the processed foods that we consume every day. The next book I got was Final Exits by Michael Largo, and it's the illustrated encyclopedia of how we die. Again, on my whole journey of trying to read more nonfiction, I've picked up another niche type. I feel like this just seemed really quirky and fun, and there's a lot of pictures and stuff in it. I think it almost reminds me of those Guinness World Record books where you just have a really interesting encyclopedia of information you really didn't need to know. Next, I picked up two A.S. King books. The first was Ask the Passenger, and then I have The Dust of 100 Dogs. I really enjoyed A.S. King's Please Enjoy Verdites, and so I've been on the hunt for more A.S. King books. A.S. King's books always have this additional layer of not quite mysticism, but something that's not completely rooted in reality, and that's kind of the charm of her books, to me at least. In Ask the Passengers, we follow a girl named Astrid who is pretty lonely and wants to confide in people, especially since she's struggling with the fact that she is falling in love with another girl. And in The Dust of 100 Dogs, we follow a 17th century pirate who is cursed to live the lives of 100 dogs while retaining the memory of each life that she's lived through. And now she is a modern day teenager, and all she really wants to do is to get her treasure back. The last book I have is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Again, trying to get more into classics this year, and I feel like this is a pretty fast-paced adventure category of classics, so I'm interested in checking this one out. So that's the end of the haul portion of this video. Now I want to talk a little bit about my experience with buying from Better World Books. Something you may or may not know about me is I'm a pretty thrifty book buyer. I tend to get all my books used or secondhand and try to find lower prices for books. And also because I don't mind reading a lot of backlist stuff instead of the newest releases, it kind of works out with my spending habits. Though this is only my second time buying from Better World Books, I've really enjoyed both experiences, and I wanted to show you all, if you're interested in thrifting books, another resource to find books for $3 to $4 each. A lot of the books that they have are a few years old, so if you're ever looking for classics for schoolwork, or if you're looking to find more of your backlist books, this is the place to do it. One thing I've noticed in a lot of the reviews for Better World Books is that they don't really show you the conditions or the comparative conditions of the books. So I wanted to make it clear how Better World Books kind of categorizes the conditions of the books that they sell. When you're buying used books from the site, there's used like new, used very good, and used good. Overall, I'd say the criteria that they use to categorize these books are pretty subjective. For example, these are all the books that were categorized as used good, and they themselves vary quite widely in terms of damage. So we'll have a book like this where it looks honestly pretty good, like it's in pretty new condition. There's no markings in the pages, none of the pages have any significant folding or anything. I would personally rate this as used very good or almost used like new. And then you have books that look more like this, where there's some creases, the pages are randomly folded and kind of wrinkled, and there was a really big rip in the back cover that I fixed with some tape. These two are both used good, but they vary so widely in condition that it almost feels arbitrary. And then there are books in the used very good category, and these tend to be more similar in that they really don't vary a lot in damage. So paperbacks look pretty nice. There's not a lot of folding, maybe small, tiny tears in the cover, or there might be extra stickers and stuff on the pages. There's no markings in these books, but there might be a little bit of folding, like you can see in the front page. It's a little bit folded since it is a paperback. Or you'll get some pretty nicely conditioned library books where the library stamps will be on it, or they'll have these markings that signal it's from a library, but the book itself is in like mint condition. Here's another example where you have the library markings on the sides and the spine and the printing on the book itself. Then we have our last category, used like new, and I truly can't tell the difference between the used like new and used very good. Like, this book was categorized as used like new, and the only difference I can tell between this book and the used very good books is that as a paperback, the covers aren't very folded, and the pages are also pretty neat and not at all crinkled and stuff like that. That's truly the only difference. I wanted to mention these differences because on the website there are some slight discrepancies in the price depending on the condition. So sometimes the used like new or used very good will be more expensive by usually just like $1. That is something that y'all might want to take into consideration, but personally I don't really think it matters too much. So if you can find a copy that's used good instead of used very good, it'll save you $1 at least. So yes, that was my mini book haul from Better Old Books. Let me know if you guys have any other places that you all use to buy your secondhand books or to buy books for a cheaper price. I know a lot of people use like Facebook Marketplace, or there'll be other places where they have personal sellers who sell their used books. But let me know the resources that you all use in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, and if you want to see more, click subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.